Hi my crochet friends, this is Lindsay from windingrowcrochet.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make this adorable moss stitch hat. If you like this tutorial, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video. So today all you need is a size 7mm crochet hook and some size 5 yarn. This is Lion Brand Color Made Easy. We're going to make a slip knot, insert our hook, and you're either going to chain 27 if you're making a child size hat or 31 for the adult size hat. For row 1, we're just going to single crochet into the second chain from the hook and then single crochet into the next 5 chain. This pattern is a nice simple 2-row repeat, and the single crochet we're making right now is actually going to be the hat brim. So once you've worked those 6 single crochet, we are going to chain 1, skip a chain, and single crochet into the next chain. So do that again, chain 1, skip a chain, and single crochet into the next chain. Chain 1, skip a chain, single crochet into the next chain, and just repeat this until you reach the end of the row. This is us starting the moss stitch. When you reach the very end of our chain, your last repeat will place you right into that very last chain. Now to start row 2, this is the first of our repeat rows. You're going to single crochet into the very first stitch. Now we're going to single crochet into the very first chain space. Now we'll start our repeat of chain 1, skip the stitch, work a single crochet into the chain space. Chain 1, skip a stitch, work a single crochet into the chain space. And you just want to repeat this all the way down until you reach those last 6 stitches. So after you work a single crochet into the last chain space, you'll only have 6 single crochet left. We are going to single crochet in each of those 6 stitches, but we're going to work into the back loop only. So you're going to go down through the top middle of your stitch and just out the back loop and work your single crochet around that. So this is the first of our repeat rows. So now on to row 3, we're basically working row 2 just backwards. So chain 1 and turn, single crochet into the first 6 stitches in the back loops only. And this is going to give us a nice ribbed brim by working into these back loops. Make sure you only work into 6 because this stitch here is the beginning of our repeat, which is going to be chain 1, skip this stitch, and work a single crochet into the chain space. Chain 1, skip a stitch, work a single crochet into the chain space, and you're just going to repeat that all the way to the end of the row. When you reach the end of the row, you're going to have 2 stitches. We're just going to chain 1, skip a stitch, and work a single crochet into the very last stitch. So from this point, all you have to do is continue alternating rows 2 and 3 until you have a total of 50 to 55 rows, 50 for child, 55 for the adult beanie. So here you can see my completed 50 rows. We've made a nice rectangle with that extra detail of the ribbing on the end. I've left myself a very long yarn to work with. And what I'm going to do is use this yarn tail to sew this seam right here. So I've threaded it with a needle, and I like to use something called the invisible stitch, and I'll leave a video tutorial linked up top if you want a really nice tutorial on how to do that stitch. But basically what I'm doing is working under just the top loop. When I take my 2 ends and place them together, I just work under what's technically like the front loop of one and the back loop of the other stitch, and I work in a zigzag pattern. It ends up pulling the very ends of the rows together and leaves a pretty invisible stitch. You can do this, or you could definitely use a whip stitch if you'd rather, but I'm just going to keep working in a zigzag pattern up the side of this beanie. So now I have my seam all sewed up, and I'm just going to turn my work inside out real quick. And we are going to gather up the top of our hat. And the way we're going to do it is going to leave a really nice folded pattern that you can either put a pom-pom on or you don't have to. I think it looks nice without a pom-pom with the way that we are going to have this fold up together. What you're going to want to do is take your yarn with your needle, and we are going to use our yarn to make a star pattern across the top of the hat. So what we're doing is just using our yarn and needle, and we're going through the hat at the 5 points of the star, kind of the way you would quickly hand draw a star, where they cross into the center. So that is what it's going to look like. And then now we're just going to very carefully pull this tight. And what you're going to end up with is 5 little flaps. So everything's folding up really nicely. Now we are going to do the star pattern once again, with the points of these folds are going to be our 5 star points. So just going through that kind of star pattern again, we're just going to be hooking every point in that exact same order that we just did. It's a little harder to see the star pattern this time, but again, you're just grabbing the edge of every one of those folds. Going back into our first point, and then we're going to take this star and pull this tight one more time. And then when we pull this tight, it's just going to fold everything in nice and neatly. So when we turn it inside out, we just have kind of a star fold on the top. And it's not as necessary to add a pom-pom on top because of that star fold. So pull that tight, use your needle to kind of sew in together the ends a little bit, make a knot, and fasten off. And before you fasten off, if you want to add a pom-pom, this is a perfect time to do it. Just take your needle and push it up through the center of your hat, so where it's on the outside. Take your pom-pom. I'm using these pom-poms I got from Amazon. I can link them in the description box below. I'm just going to push my needle through a nice little convenient hoop they have here. And then I like to always loop it at least twice. So I'm going to go through my hat and then bring my yarn back up through my pom-pom one more time. Then I'll push my yarn needle down through the hat once again, pull everything nice and tight, and knot it up. And there you'll have your nice finished beanie. So I hope you liked this tutorial. If you did, make sure to check out my YouTube channel and see all the other video tutorials that I have put together. You might just find your next crochet project.